Today, I'm here with Saman Habibi, the Durham Region.
Durham Region is spicy, man. A lot of offers, a lot of multiple offer scenarios on listings. We're seeing some listings out there that are grossly underpriced, and as a result, you're getting a lot of multiple offers. In the last month, there was a home with 45 offers. So it's starting to get crazy again. It's very hard to get those conditions that people want, the inspection and the finance clause, but hey, nonetheless, there are still opportunities around. Dive into some of the numbers here. A number of new listings are up 47%. That is a huge number, but we've also had prices increase just slightly. And you would think that as new listings come to market, that probably has a pressure on prices, and prices shouldn't increase as much. But in fact, the demand is so high that prices are increasing.
Really fantastic outlook for the Durham region for the spring market. That's exciting. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Canadian Real Estate Channel. I'm Adam JD Martin, your host, and today I'm here with Saman Habibi, who just gave us the numbers breakdown from the Durham region. So if you guys missed out on the market update, go back and watch that video. But you're here now, so we're going to be doing the deep dive into the market and get a great understanding of what the actual so what is behind those numbers. And Saman's got some great information for us today. So Saman, what's going on in the Durham region today?
Ooh, Durham Region is spicy, man. A lot of offers, a lot of multiple offer scenarios on listings. We're seeing some listings out there that are grossly underpriced, and as a result, you're getting a lot of multiple offers. I believe in the last month there was a home with 45 offers. So it's starting to get crazy again. It's very hard to get those conditions that people want, the inspection and the finance clause, but hey, nonetheless, there are still opportunities around.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know we've all sort of eagerly been anticipating the spring market and seeing what's going to actually happen after that winter. Obviously, this is your first month here recording Durham with us. So if it's anything like any of the other markets we've been following, the winter was pretty slow. Like almost everywhere, there was like not a lot of supply, but there also wasn't a ton of transactions. So was that very similar for Durham?
Absolutely, yes. There's a big decrease in inventory actually in supply from December to January. We'll get into that shortly after. But yeah, I would say the narrative is very consistent with the other regions. Low inventory, people not really shopping, people waiting for direction from the Bank of Canada, and as a result, kind of just dragging real estate activities down. But the spring market, to your point, has started and it's in full effect right now.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, we always anticipate that seasonality kicking in, but I think there's also a little bit of like pent up demand all over Ontario, just from the rates changing, from generally people feeling a little bit more stability coming out of COVID and everything like that. So I'm looking forward to this update. Let's pull it up.
Absolutely. Let's jump right into it. What I want to do is first give everyone a market overview in terms of what's happening in the Durham region. Then I'll quickly break it down by municipality. So in the Durham region, we've got 6-7 towns here. We've got Pickering, Ajax, Whitby, Oshawa, Clarington, Scugog, and Brock. So there's a couple municipalities that we need to touch on. Then I'll do a quick comparison of Durham region versus the GTA to show you where how much your dollar can essentially get you in the Durham region. We're going to talk about why Durham region, employment in the Durham region, discuss first-time home buyers. There's some headlines happening in the media. We want to talk about that, and I want to share rental data for our investors as well. All right, so let's dive into some of the numbers here. I'm going to be doing a January to February 2024 analysis and talking about the changes. So the first thing that probably stands out to you is the number of new listings. So number of new listings are up 47%. That is a huge number. And, this alludes to the spring market being in full swing and in full effect. As a result, we've had new listings go up, but we've also had prices increase just slightly. And, you would think that as new listings come to market, that probably has a pressure on prices, and prices shouldn't increase as much. But in fact, the demand is so high that prices are increasing. I'll talk about what happened from December to February because that number is a bit more material than January to February. But it's also important to talk about months of inventory. Although we've had 47% increase in new listings, the demand is high and that inventory is being gobbled up and being sold. And as a result, months of inventory is staying fairly low. The important thing to note here with months of inventory is that when we compare the Durham region with the rest of the GTA, the Durham region has the lowest months of inventory, which means that although there's supply coming, demand is taking all that supply away. And, we need more listings to come to market to see any sort of material impact on median prices, okay? The other thing I want to talk about is days on market. We're seeing a big drop in days on market, down 40%. Again, that the what if here is that the demand is so high that as listings come to market, they're being taken away, they're being purchased, and as a result, listings aren't staying on the market for a long time. Hence why we have days on market coming down. And the sales price to list price ratio, going from 99% to 102%. This is important for viewers because if you are someone who is going to be listing your home on the market, this pretty much tells you what the psychology of the consumers are in the market right now. Okay, so anyone that's looking at a listing at the moment on the MLS, they're right away saying that, okay, this listing is going to sell for 100% on average, 100 to 102% of the list price. It's not a blanket statement, doesn't do us any justice, and we should never, consider real estate as a blanket. Every home, every neighborhood is different. But as a general rule of thumb, as of right now, this is what's happening in the market. Everything is selling for approximately 102% of asking price.
Yeah, these are fantastic stats. I mean, if you look at any one of these in a vacuum, it would be, you would have to make some assumptions that are not what we're seeing here, which is great. So like usually if you see new listings go up 47%, you would expect to see a drop in median price, or you would expect to see an increase on the days in market and an increase in the months of inventory. So it really is a pretty interesting statement about the Durham region right now and the level of demand there, that you can have an increase of 47% in new listings and have no change anywhere in terms of like the price going down or it's sitting on market for longer. And in fact, it's actually getting off market faster than it's getting on because the days on market's going down. So really fantastic outlook for the Durham region for the spring market. That's exciting.
Absolutely, and we'll compare this 870 to the rest of the GTA to see how much value you're getting compared to the rest of the GTA and what the difference is, and it is material, so everyone can stay tuned for that number as well. So we spoke about January to February. That's just 1 month, but we should probably look into it in a bit more detail. So what I've done here is let's talk about supply and demand. Okay, so this slide is supposed to talk about supply and demand, which really controls the market. Okay, in terms of supply, that's our new listings. As we said, there's a 47% increase, and again, that's the spring market in full effect. But when we kind of talk about, when we analyze what happened from December 2023 till now, in fact, from December till February, inventory is down 32%. Okay, so there was a lot of buildup of inventory from mid 2023 until the end of 2023. I think everyone was, that panic mode had set in. Everyone was bringing their properties onto market. There was probably, financial distress there as well. And again, I don't have the data, but I'm assuming that some of those people who were trying to sell, who were not successful, perhaps renewed their mortgages and took the property off the market, whether it be for 1 year, for 2 years. So as a result, we've seen that inventory drop dramatically, 32% from December. And as a result, that kind of supports, what's happening with prices. All this inventory dropped down. Now there's inventory coming back to market. They're being purchased and median price is starting to increase a little bit, okay? I also want to talk about sales. So that's the bar chart to the right. Sales have also increased by 38% from January to February. And that's fueled by two things. Record immigration. As we know, we're having around 500,000 immigrants coming to the country every year, and millennials. So millennials for the first time have surpassed baby boomers in the last 65 years. So there's a big change. There's a big shift in who the buyers are now. The buyers in the market are filled with first-time home buyers and millennials now. And we know that there's a lot of wealth transfer from the baby boomers to the millennials. So as a result, the sales demand is fueled by these two things that we spoke about, which is why we're seeing activity happen and sales occur.
Yeah, that's great insight. And I love that we're bringing this up in the deep dive because, it's not like, again, real estate doesn't actually exist in a vacuum, right? Things like immigration really matters. Things like the actual demographics of the country really matter. The things like the employment situation really matter about a city. So I'm really happy that you're bringing this up, Saman, and thank you for sharing this with us.
Of course. So, we spoke about median price. What I want to do here is we spoke about month over month. I also want to touch on year over year. So month over month, we're up around 7.4%. Sorry, month over month, we're up around 2%, but we spoke about December. So from December 2023 till now, we're up around 7.4%. So we're really seeing that increase happen, okay? 5% from December to January and another 2% from January to February. And I'm expecting that number to continue climbing as we head towards the spring market. And, if we're trying to look out into what's going to happen in the coming months as well, the Bank of Canada just made an announcement yesterday saying that essentially hiking interest rates is likely not going to happen anymore. So a lot of people are waiting to see what's going to happen in terms of the cut and when that cut's going to happen. So kind of foreshadowing that in the future, I would say that median prices are going to continue to climb. How high? I would say I'm as of right now comfortable saying that single digits is where I would predict it to be. I don't think I can see double digits as of now, but again, who knows? Everything can change. And just, year over year, what I want to point out to people is that year over year, we're up around 2.4%. Okay. So February of 2023 versus February of 2024. And what I want to drive home here is that we got to kind of take into mind is that real estate, we're looking at it month over month right now, but if I was to look at it month over month in 2023, we would have had a ramp up of prices from January to June. Okay, there was a lot of demand and prices were increasing, double digits. But then from June till December, prices came all the way back down again to pretty much starting point. Okay, so what I want to point out here is that people shouldn't get caught in the FOMO of prices increasing, 7% from December to January. Prices are going to go up, prices are going to come down. It's just a matter of, what you're comfortable with purchasing, what you're pre-qualified for, what is your time horizon. So it's everything, in the scenario, right? It's not just one thing that controls price, and it's very dependent on your personal scenario. So don't get caught in the news and the media and the FOMO. You got to kind of work within your own means here.
Yeah, I agree. And there's another very popular saying in real estate, right? That's just time in market, not timing the market. Yes. And so, of course, like if we were to expand this view and look at the last 20 years in the Durham region, it makes a really big difference about how we frame growth or how we frame loss, right? It's how long are we looking at and when are we entering the market and when do we have to exit? And what's our investment strategy? So that's really important to highlight. Thank you, Saman.
All right. I wanted to quickly do a quick dive into the municipality. So in this chart to the left, you'll see median price January 2024, median price February 2024. Top line is Durham overall, and then underneath it is each of the municipalities within. There are two things I want to point out here. One are a couple outliers. You're going to see an outlier in Brock, and you're going to see an outlier in the Uxbridge area. That is mainly due to the fact that the sample size is very small, and oftentimes I would say every month the numbers are way out of whack because of low sample size, and there's a very wide range of homes in these neighborhoods. Okay, so you can have a neighborhood that has bungalows for $400,000, and then you can have a subdivision that has homes, $3-4 million. So that causes the prices to go out of whack. And then the other thing I want to point everyone's attention to is the numbers to the far right. So Feb 2022 peak versus December 2023 of just this past year. And what I want to drive home here is that there has been a big correction in the Durham region in terms of prices. Okay, we had very big price increases during the whole pandemic, but now we've seen that correction happen and prices have come down. Okay, so if anyone is looking for a municipality that is affordable, if anyone is considering getting into the market, you got to remember that prices have come down to pandemic levels, pre-pandemic levels. And 2023 what it taught us was that it hasn't come down lower than 2023 levels. And I don't know if we're going to see it come down even more, because if we were going to see that, I would have assumed that the heightened interest rates and the higher interest costs would have forced people to get into the market and sell these properties at a, even of greater loss, but that didn't happen. So as of right now, there is a correction in terms of prices. Prices have corrected. So if you're looking to get into the market, perhaps this is a time where you need to be a bit more serious.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for pointing out the some of the reasons there as to why those markets might be changing as well.
Yes, and what we want to do here is kind of compare the Durham region to the rest of the GTA. So these prices are for detached homes across the GTA. And then what I want to point out here is that if you kind of take a look at some of the major cities around the GTA, even along the 401, you do get affordability options here, right? So again, these are median prices for detached homes. If you look at Oshawa, a detached home is going to cost you $910,000. So this is probably a detached 2-story home with minimum 3 to 4 bedrooms, 1.5 to 2 car garage. You have a decent sized backyard. As you move closer to the GTA, that 980,000, that is around the Pickering area. Okay, so if you want to be closer to the GTA, you can consider the Pickering area. A detached home there is going to cost you, the median price is $980,000. What I want to point out about Pickering, guys, is that from Pickering to the Union Station is a 20 to 25 minute GO train ride. Okay, the distance may look great here, but on the GO train, it's very fast. And there are, in fact, a lot of people in the Durham region who commute to Union Station for work. So from Pickering, you're around 20, 25 minutes. Your door-to-door could be 30 minutes. Not a big commute time by any means for living in the GTA. And then if we look at, even further west, Scarborough is 1.195. So you're almost 200K price difference going from Oshawa to Scarborough. And again, if people like, they can just pause the video and take a look at some of the other regions as well. So guys, I know there's a lot of information here. So if anyone wants a one-on-one call with me, feel free to take out your phone and scan the QR code and you can book a quick virtual call with me and we can talk about your personal scenario. So the Durham region, why the Durham region? So what I want to do is I want to talk about some of the municipalities, the main municipalities, Pickering, Ajax, Whitby, Oshawa, Clarington. And I want to give you why I believe that the Durham region and these municipalities are a great area for you to consider, in moving to or even investing as an investment strategy. So what I want to talk about are garden suites, short-term rentals, rent stability, population growth, and employment growth, okay? The important thing, a very popular topic has been garden suites. And what you can see is that across all the municipalities, garden suites are allowed and are being, built as we speak. Some of my clients are doing it as well. All municipalities allow it at minimum 3 units. The town of Ajax did come out with a bylaw that would allow for 4 units to be built as of right. So, you don't need to go through any hoops. As long as you have the land for it, they will allow you to do it. Right now, the popular option is doing the 3 units, but we are seeing people start putting in applications for the 4 units in Ajax. And if I were to guess, I would guess that the other municipalities are likely going to follow suit and increase that density to 4 units sooner than later.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So there seems like to be a pretty big incentive for intensification in those markets, right? Like,
yeah, absolutely. And the federal government is still giving out money to the municipalities to support this. So I know that with building garden suites, there are no development charges. And I know a lot of municipalities were against this because it's, tax revenues lost. I get it. But the federal government is coming and giving funding to these municipalities to assist with that. So all very good sign. And I'm seeing pretty much this happen all across the board. All these municipalities, I know clients and others who are doing them.
that's awesome. And I am actually a little bit surprised to see that short-term rentals are not regulated in, 4 out of the 5 markets here.
Yeah, exactly. So what I will say is that when I look on their websites, municipalities, they have done study. For example, the town of Whitby, there's data on their website saying that in 2019 they started the study to see if it should be regulated.
Right.
The website has not been updated, and there's no news out there. I've spoke to planners as well, and again, they don't really have any direction on it. So as of now, the only municipality that does regulate it is the city of Oshawa. This is important to note, guys, because we know that the federal government has come in and put further regulations on the short-term rentals, in that, if you are operating a short-term rental in a regulated municipality, you can no longer deduct your expenses. So you have to essentially report taxes, report income, and pay taxes on 100% of the income. So, that's important to note. But thankfully, in the Durham region, they're fine. There aren't a lot of regulations. And in fact, I did an interview with the mayor of Pickering, and he was for short-term rentals. Okay, his vision was that short-term rentals allow for people to come in, stay here, whether it be people who are coming to the casino at Durham Live, whether it's people, employers bringing in employees to come, from abroad and work. So they're for it, and it's been going well. I know a lot of people who are running short-term rentals, and they're doing well.
That's awesome. Thank you for that insight.
And in terms of rent stability, I would say that the rent stability has been great, and it hasn't changed materially. I'm going to take you guys over to rental data soon, but I just want to point out high level that we haven't had any fluctuations in rental data, and that's consistent for whether it be an executive home, whether it be investment properties, condos. It's been pretty steady, pre-pandemic to post-pandemic. Population growth, the Durham region is going to grow, and it's going to double by 2050. So there's a lot of people coming to the region. And as a result, people come in, employers are coming as well. I also have a slide where I'm going to talk to you guys about employment growth, and we're seeing it all across the board. Okay, so from Pickering, we have Durham Live, Kubuto coming in Whitby. We have a brand new super hospital that's going to be built that's supposed to take some of the traffic away from the downtown hospitals. In Oshawa, the industrial lands are going crazy here. There's a lot of big players coming to the area, and same with Clarington. OPG is in Clarington, is in Pickering. They're doing well. They just announced that they're going to be a new funding that's worth $2 billion for the region. So a lot of growth still happening, and this slide should show you that there is a business case for you to either live in the Durham region or invest in the Durham region.
Yeah, that's fantastic insight. Thank you.
Yes, and in terms of employers, so what I want to talk about are some of these employers who are in the area, and I'll just quickly go high level, touch on some of these employers, who they are, what they do in the Durham region, and we can this is just supposed to give you some comfort in terms of what kind of employment opportunities you can expect. So Kuboto, we know that they are a heavy machine manufacturer and an operator. So they're located in North Pickering. They're going to be they just built a massive new facility, and they're going to be overtaking OPG as the biggest employer in the Durham region. The OPG Ontario Power Generation, as I mentioned, there's two plants, one in Pickering, one in Clarington. The Pickering was supposed to be shut down, but they just got a new contract for $2 billion that would pretty much save those plants and have it running and operating. So that's going to be a lot of new jobs coming to Pickering as well, Pickering and Clarington. Lactalis Group, so that is they manufacture and distribute a lot of milk and cheese products. Wonder Brands, as we know, they're all over the grocery stores. They provide us the bread. Gordon Food Services, they service and provide food to all the Starbucks across the region. The Ministry of Finances in Oshawa, Lakeridge Health is one of the biggest employers in Oshawa. There are 6 hospitals, and they're growing. Ontario Tech and Durham College, they've created this hub in Oshawa where they house 25,000 students on an annual basis, which is amazing. Mazda and Toyota both have manufacturing and distribution plants in the Durham region. Porsche Canada is going to be opening up a racetrack in Pickering, right along the Durham Live Casino. And this is just going to be very exciting for anyone who is going to be at the casino. They're going to have the opportunity to either take their own cars, or also test drive Porsche vehicles on the racetrack.
Wow, that is wicked. That's a fun update for the market deep dive.
Very, very. I know a lot of people, a lot of guys who got the Porsches, who's got the sports cars, are very excited for this. Yeah, it's going to be a big traction for the area. Okay, first-time home buyers, guys. We know that the first-time home buyer incentive program was just discontinued. So this program was a program where you can put down a percentage of your down payment on a property, and the federal government would match that down payment. And as a result, you and the federal government would own that home together. You would share the profits, you would share the losses. However, the downfall of that program was that you as a homeowner had to pay for the property tax, the maintenance, pretty much all the expenditures that had to do with it, and the government would just come in and collect profits or realize losses when it was time to sell. Unfortunately, that program did not go too well, and they've axed that program. in my opinion, it's nothing, lost here. It was a horrible program to begin with. It cost the country a lot of money to get this program up and running. So as a first-time home buyer, you don't need to worry about that because there are still other incentives, for you to take advantage of. So the first one is the RRSP Home Buyers Plan, where you can withdraw up to $35,000 tax-free from your RRSP. So, if you have been contributing to your RRSP or your employer matches your donations and you have, funds in there, you can withdraw those funds tax-free and invest it and use it as a down payment on your property. There's a first-time home buyer savings account where you can contribute up to $40,000 into this account and have it invested in the markets. And, this can grow tax-free. When it's time for you to purchase, you can withdraw tax-free and use it towards your down payment. There's still the CMHC insured program where you can put 5% on the first $500,000 and 10% from $500,000 to $999,000, just under $1 million. So that program's still there. And lastly, there's a land transfer tax rebate. So when you purchase a property and there's a change in ownership, there's a land transfer tax on this process. This program allows you to get a rebate of $4,000. So if you're a first-time home buyer, there's still hope for you. There are still 4 programs that you can take advantage of. And once again, if you are a first-time home buyer, the Durham region is a great place for you to be in. And if you like, you can scan this code and book a one-on-one call with me, and we can talk about your personal scenario. Okay, rental data for our investors. So what I want to talk about here is what's going on with, the rental data. So let's talk about single family homes, the legal 2 units, and the multifamily. So on the single family home, if you have a single family home, you can rent it from anywhere from $2,700 a month to $3,000. Apologies for the typo. Executive homes, there is a big demand for executive homes because, some of these employers that I just spoke to you about, OPG, for example, they are bringing in a lot of employees from overseas, and they're giving them a budget to pretty much go out and rent a home for up to a year until they can kind of figure out where they want to live long term. So there's a big demand for executive homes, and I just did one in Whitby for $5,000 a month. This is a very good strategy because the rent is guaranteed from the employer's perspective, so there's no risk there. And if you've got an executive home, there is a market for it, and they're doing really well, and they're going very fast. Okay. Legal 2 units, guys. This is the traditional bungalows that we've been talking about and know very well. Upper units have been leasing. Upper unit 3 bedrooms lease anywhere from $2,300 a month to $2,500 a month. Lower 2 units are anywhere from $1,700 to $2,000. Lower 1 unit is anywhere from $1,400 to $1,600 a month, plus utilities and hydro. So on a duplex, you can still generate over $4,000 a month in rental income. And this is what I want. This is what I talked about earlier, in that these rental data figures have not fluctuated. Okay, they've been very consistent. They've been very healthy. The demand is still high. You get it up there. You have a ton of inquiries about your property, and essentially the ball is in your court to do your due diligence and find the best tenant. If you've got a multifamily building, the rental data is here as well. So 1 bedroom is anywhere from $1,100 to $1,400. 2 bedroom is $1,400 to $1,800 a month, and the 3 bedrooms are $1,800 to $2,200 a month, plus utilities and hydro. I have the lower end of the range and the higher end of the range, guys. The higher end is going to be for properties located in prime areas, and that have been maintained and renovated over the last year or two. Okay, if you're in a less desirable location and there's a lot of deferred maintenance on the property, you're very well going to be on the lower half, and people are picky with what they go for.
That's awesome. I appreciate the transparency there and just sort of giving context to where those numbers are coming from. Thank you, Saman.
Yes. All right. And we're heading towards the end of the presentation, guys. This slide is just supposed to tell you a little bit about myself. I'm not going to go over it in detail, but if you'd like, you can just pause the video and just take a look at it. But, high level, I live and work in the Durham region. Been here for most of my life. 90% of my business is here, and 10% is the surrounding areas, cottage country, GTA. So if you'd like to work with me, or if you're looking to get into Durham region and want to speak to someone about it, feel free to book a call with me and we can talk about it in detail. And lastly, if you got any questions, this is my phone number. This is my email address. You can reach out to me. You can book a call with me and we can talk about your personal scenario.
That's fantastic. Well, thank you so much for coming on today. I really appreciate all the insights that you gave us. And I really love that you went into detail and gave so much context to the different numbers that we were seeing. And I know that, you know, if everybody watching at home, they're not going to get a chance to tell you. So thank you very much. In the comments, guys, please let us know if you have any questions for Saman, or if there's anything you would like to see about the Durham region moving forward, because Saman's going to be back every month with us. And we're going to hopefully be giving you all the answers, all the information you need to be able to make an educated decision to invest in the Durham region. So Saman, I appreciate your time, and thank you for coming on the channel. I appreciate that.
My pleasure. Thank you.